When I painted this painting, I literally do not have like a clear vision of my grandfather. Like, I remember him giving me this marble to play with. I don't know if I made it, I don't even know if I made it up in my head, but I just remember him telling me it's a special marble and I need to like keep it and keep it safe. I still have this marble to this day, and I just realized maybe a couple years ago that it's actually part of a board game, or it's part of like a game piece, the mancala. You know those like beads that you scoop up depending how many marble beads you end up with? So yeah, I somehow treasured that thing forever, and unfortunately I still was so young when my grandfather passed away, so I always see him in photos, and he really just reminds me of like a really chill, laid back grandpa who he's the type that you could drink a beer with no matter how old you are. So yeah, I came across this photo of when I was like a baby and he was holding me, and I thought I should paint this. So as an artist, if you ever come across photos, whether it's your own or like your friends or something, and you're just inspired to paint it, just go for it. Go paint it. Really capture what you want to capture in those paintings. I'm gonna show you the painting right now. Okay. It's kind of big. It's like actually as big as, like, if my grandfather was alive, his face would be this big. So this is a painting that I did of my grandfather, Papa Wakat, and he is on my dad's side of the family. So obviously I heard so many stories about my grandfather through my dad, and actually my brother too, because my brother actually got to talk to my grandfather a couple times, and where I was still like a wee baby. And sometimes the way my dad talks about Papa Wakat, like, I kind of wish I was at this age now to have those conversations with him, because I feel like Papa Wakat was a very open-minded person, and it's just really nice to know like there was more in our family that was interested in art or had some kind of talent in art, and for him it was music. I remember years ago when I was little, and that was like the very first time I visited the Philippines, that he would play the keyboard. We definitely have a collection of videos of my grandfather playing the piano and talking, and it's just really cool that I get to have these references for myself and eventually to make this painting. And it just allowed me to kind of like get to know my grandfather on a different way instead of like listening to my dad talk about him. So I mean, the stories is what adds to the experience of me when I'm painting this portrait of my grandfather, because it's like I get to see where will I put the wrinkles. Like, was he somebody who cared about his appearance? Like, I focused in on his expression more and matching mine as a baby because we're related, so it's kind of nice to make those connections when I'm painting this portrait. So at some point I really wish I was at this age to get to know my grandfather more if he was still alive. It's really nice to know like me and Miguel can leave a legacy, continue this legacy of being artists. It's cool to share this painting with you guys, and as a Filipino, it's nice to know that we can be part of that non-traditional way of growing up to be an artist. I guess it's just sad to think about like society really didn't encourage anybody to pursue the arts. I think also half of it, my grandfather, he didn't really have that motivation either to even go higher in his pursuit. So when it comes down to it, I'm trying to be really grateful for all the experiences I've gone through to get to where I am, and like trying just to appreciate my parents' support in being in the arts. I think what's eerie is like I could tell when I was painting my grandfather, it felt like I was like painting myself, because there are certain genes that obviously passed on to me, like features wise. So I felt like, oh, this is kind of easy. It's like painting myself, but like obviously an older man. But yeah, I definitely value and grateful for the stories my dad tells me about Papa Wakat, because he was somebody who seemed to be very interested in the arts and like really encouraged it, and just an example of someone in our culture who wasn't all about keeping strict on what's traditional and what's not traditional. So anyway, thank you for listening to me talk about my grandfather, who I never really got to like interact with as much as I wish I could have, but I'm just glad to be able to share just making this painting. I hope to make more paintings and even explore a little bit of his story and other forms of art. Hint, hint, maybe animation. Anyway, alrighty. I'll see you guys next time.